Welcome to Chapter 2, Monetary Policy. This chapter is personally one of my favorites and handles about the following content. So we will first tackle the ECB. This first video will only look at the ECB, and the second chapter is a bigger one, which deals with money creation and destruction. So very interesting topics, in my opinion. First of all, the ECB. The European Central Bank is a very important entity to economics in all of Europe. And as you can see, it's a very nice building standing in Frankfurt. You have to check out Google Maps if you want to, and you'll see that this building is just insane. It's massive. Um, so there is a video you could watch, but you don't have to actually, because I will give you the answers to the introduction myself. Because in your textbook, we also watched the same video. I mean, in class, we watched the same video, and in your textbook, you had to fill in some words, but I will go over them once again over here. Now, you don't have to know that the ECB is based in Frankfurt. Just know it's in Germany. That's already a big one for me. Just know where it is located. You have to know that the ECB and the central bank members form the euro system together. Okay, so they will sit together and think about the monetary policy that will be carried out in the European Union, right? Well, in the euro system. Now, the main task is to define and implement monetary policy. This is one of the most important slides in my opinion, that you know that their main objective is maintaining price stability. Stable prices are very, very important because they will give consumers and companies more confidence that everything is all right, and it gives you, yeah, this certain feeling of safety. Thing is, price stability doesn't necessarily mean that prices stay the same all the time. Thing is, their goal is actually managing inflation. That inflation will not become too high or become too low. They aim the 2% rate. You have to remember the 2% rate because inflation, like this very low inflation, is actually a sign of economic development, economic growth. So having zero is not good. You should, like price stability is not, once again, keeping the prices the same all the time, but it's maintaining price stability. It's maintaining the inflation, managing it. Okay, their main tool in their kit is the decisions they make on interest rates. So this will influence the price levels. So they can either ask higher rates or lower rates. And this will influence the market in a big way. You have to know that if they keep rates fairly low, this will lead to a boost in the economy. Simply because um, consumers will be more inclined to borrow money from banks and purchase a house or fund a company. And if rates are low, it's also easier for companies to invest or to like borrow money and carry out some projects. Stuff like that will boost the economy. On the other side of the story, we have the high rates, which will cause a decline in the economy. People will be less inclined to borrow money, which will cause or will cause the economy to slow down. And if rates are very high, and this will actually um, like help lower the inflation if you ask higher interest rates. So can you explain how these rates are affected or affect the economy? I just said how this works, so we can go over to this slide. Decisions are not made by one man or woman. The ECB has a chairperson, Christine Lagarde, right now, but she does not decide everything on her own. She has a council that will support her. The decisions are taken by the governing council of the ECB. And the thing is, you will have the governors of the national central banks and the members of the ECB ECB's executive board. This is not too important. What I want you to remember is that there is a council. There's more than just one man or woman that is taking decisions. It's a group of people. Also, a very important task of them is making sure there is a smooth operation of the payment system. That means that we can easily pay for things. This is very important in an economy. So they will strive for a faster, safer, and easier way to make your transactions. Let's say I pay something as a company and the money will go to a German company. It's very important that they receive that money as quickly as possible and as safe as possible. That the German company knows they will receive their money. That's very important for an economy to have. This will ensure, um, this will actually make them feel more safe to do these transactions and will encourage trade. So transactions and the payment system, very important. The ECB also holds foreign currencies, so they also will have some dollars, some Chinese currencies over there, or Japan, like the yen, will all be in their vaults. So sometimes they will give these or lend these to like banks, so we as the consumer can actually do transactions in different kinds of currencies. So just know they hold foreign currencies as well. Okay. Um, so the ECB also is responsible for authorizing the issuance of banknotes and coins. So they basically print the money or they create the money we use on a daily basis. Um, in times like these, I'm filming this during the Corona crisis of 2020. In times like these, or like this rather, the ECB prints a lot of money to support the economy. Well, this doesn't mean they're literally printing money all the time. They could also just buy like bonds from banks and give them money in return, but this will be like digital money as well. So if they're like sometimes people say they're printing billions or trillions of euros, this is not like all the time like money you can hold or see. It's often just digital money. Just know that they also just create digital money. But they also basically print money in the end. The thing is, this money printing will support the economy. Some say it's dangerous to the economy. Um, if there's more money in circulation, but production stays the same, people think that the value of money will go down because the quantity is so high when you print this much money, which means that you will actually create inflation. So some people they really think that the only reason why inflation is a thing or exists is because of decisions the ECB makes, because of this money printing thing. Okay, just know that printing money also comes with a downside. So here we see ING, a big bank, has warned of the perils or the dangers of central bank money printing, saying there is already enough cheap money available and that injecting more will do little to bolster weak confidence. So sometimes the ECB will print out more money to increase confidence, so consumers will buy more goods and services. But this article says this is not the case. Another one, ECB primes their money printing gun. So they are referring to the printers that are printing a lot of money over here to combat the coronavirus. So the European Central Bank has ditched a cap on how many bonds it can buy from any single Eurozone country, because this is what the ECB does. So they don't literally send money to a country. They will actually just buy bonds from banks, and the banks will receive money in return, which they can use to lend out to people like you and me. So yeah, just know that the unlimited money printing can be dangerous to an economy. So not everyone is a fan of the ECB and their money printing mechanism or machine. That was the first part. Now we can go on to the a little bit of history part because this is something you should know. Because the thing we have right now the ECB and the Eurozone and all these things and the European monetary system. All of this used to be non-existent. So in 89 over here, um, a French man, Jacques, he presented his three-step plan in order to create something. So he had a plan. This is obviously not Jacques. This is Martin Luther King, but Jacques also had a dream. That's why I created this totally not funny meme. And one day Europe becomes an EMU. Hmm. Here we have the man. That's him, the one we want. So here we have the EMU, the Economic and Monetary Union. This was his goal. He wanted to strengthen um, like the countries, by forcing and not forcing, but by making them more inclined to work together. Because all these separate countries in Europe on their own, well, it's very difficult to fight against a massive power like the United States of America. The thing is, if you work together, that was his dream, we might become something more powerful, able to um, be like competitive with the big boys like America. So why? Economic integration means that everyone is working together, right? Internal efficiency makes everything more efficient. That's just it. We're working together, which will, in the long term, or even on the short already, will become more efficient. Economic stability, a very important one. To ensure stability makes people have more confidence, consumers and companies, which will lead to a higher growth. Think about the individual country's GDP, or like the whole zone in general. It will also create more employment. It's also easier to work abroad, for example. And if you can give me like three of them, I'm a happy man. Just note that working together, you already know this, is important and might strengthen um, the impact you will have, right? So, economic and monetary union, working together on an economic and monetary level. So, his three-step plan begins with phase one, away with the barriers, I called it. So, in 1990, you actually have the exchange controls are abolished or are deleted or eliminated. Thus, capital movements are completely liberalized. This just makes stuff like trade easier. To if a Belgian company wants to deal with a German one, this will make it easier for them. Very important. One of the most important things of this whole thing, well, things of things, is the Treaty of Maastricht, which introduced the convergence criteria. Because if you wanted to join this economic and monetary union, you had to meet the requirements. Not everyone can just join the union and reap the benefits. No, you had to make sure some things were in order first. These are the ones. Four very important criteria. Convergence, by the way, is like something coming together, like a country joining the EMU. Before she could do that, she had to meet these requirements. Very important one is the stable prices. If you have a country where the prices are always skyrocketing and then going down extremely hard, going up again, then going rock bottom again, and that's not a good sign of a stable economy. It's rather a sign of a very volatile economy, and you don't want that in your economic and monetary union. Because if this is the case, if you accept such a country in your group, this will cause problems because they will actually cause imbalances in your economy. So you want the company that joins you, the country that joins you, to have stable prices. Over here, there is an inflation rate of maximum 1.5. If it's like 2%, the rate I previously mentioned for the ECB, I'm already happy. Just know that too high inflation is not a good sign. Then, low interest rates should be the case. This is actually a sign that um, there will be confidence in that economy. People can borrow money pretty cheap, which will actually make them more inclined to do more investments. It's just a sign of a healthy economy that the interest rates are fairly low. If they're too high, they might be fighting against inflation. So low rates are required. Then, solid state finances. Their government should not be in debt too much. You have some numbers over there. Government debt should be lower than 60% of the GDP, and new debt made per year should be less than 3% of the GDP. Just know there are restrictions based on the country's GDP. Okay? If they borrow way more than they can handle, you should not accept them in the group. They should first sort out their budgets and then reapply. Finally, we have the stable exchange rate. So 2 years prior to joining, so not just the day before you want to join, it should be stable. No, already from starting from 2 years before you want to join, exchange rates should be stable. Once again, this is necessary to keep everything stable, to keep everything safe for all the members in the union. These four criteria are very important to me. You need to know them. Also be able to explain a little bit. Then, phase two, the precursor or the predecessor, the thing before the ECB. So the ECB was not there first. So in my birth year in 94, we had the establishment or the creation of the European Monetary Institute, the EMI. So this was before the ECB was created. This was the precursor. This job over here in phase two was focusing on the strength or the strengthening rather of the economic convergence. In 97, we have the SGP or the Stability and Growth Pact. This pact mainly looked at the budgetary discipline of the governments that wanted to join. Also, the members of the union already were also like affected by this pact. The SGP was really looking at the way governments were spending money. This is very important. They also created the exchange rate mechanism number two, the ERM2, very important one because in this over here at this time the euro was not there yet. Everyone had their own currency. So how were you going to exchange money? Who was going to say how much um, German mark was worth in like Belgian franc, something like that. So this was dealing with that issue, ERM2. Finally, in 98, the ECB was created, so the EMI becomes the ECB. What is the most important thing on this slide? Know that EMI becomes ECB, and know about the SGP. SGP contains stuff about the budgetary discipline and ERM2. The original squad. So the OGs regarding the the Economic and Monetary Union, are the countries colored in red. I also have them over here. Do you have to know all of them? Nope. Just know that Belgium, our country, was part of this squad from the very beginning. Also note once again that Switzerland is neutral. She is like laying in a sea of red. And the UK was also not present. Maybe also an important one. Um, Greece also at this point not a member. Um, but most importantly, the Benelux or Belgium, very important, was a part from the beginning. Phase 3, enter the euro. So, in 99, the euro becomes the official currency, but this is where everything started rolling. You cannot implement a new currency from one day to another or just like that. It takes time. So it was only like adopted in 2002. Then people were actually using the euro um, as a currency. So the Economic and Monetary Union we are in is called the Eurozone. So it has a name. So there can be multiple economic and monetary unions around the globe. Just know that our economic and monetary union is called the Eurozone. And of course, the ECB aims to guide that zone. And as of writing, when I created this slide, there were 19 members. This is still the same today for me. So as you can see, there are more countries right now in blue than there were in red because some countries joined as well. Do not ask me why this zone is in pink. I have no clue. There's like a zone in pink. But as you can see, Greece joined, for example. You have some countries over here that joined. Um, and Switzerland is still neutral. Neutral. All right. You do not have to know any of these countries. Just know that right now we have 19 members. A gift. A gift, which means you also have this in your textbook, if I'm not mistaken. These are the abbreviations. The thing is, the thing is, we didn't really see ESCB. You don't have to know this. Um, the other ones you do have to know. I also have this, a small distinction between Eurosystem and Eurozone. So Eurozone was the thing colored in blue, the collective of 19 states where you can use the euro as a payment method. And the Euro system is the monetary authority of the Eurozone. Okay, so this is more about um, the one that guides the Eurozone. But this distinction is not too important to me because we will mainly focus on the Eurozone as a concept over there. Now, my final gift on this slide is a timeline where you can see the chronological order of the events leading to the creation of the euro. I told you in class that you did not have to study timestamps or like numbers when something happened. You don't have to do that. I just want you to know which happened first. So everything starts with the dream, the three-phase plan by Jacques Delors at the beginning, and as you can see, some things are important to me. Um, just know that this is the way things went, and that's very important to me. That you know the order. Okay. Now, the assignment has already been carried out by now, so you all chose a subject and you all gave a really great lesson on that subject. It was very good. Um, so several questions will be asked on the exam regarding these topics. Okay, this was the explanation, and if I'm not mistaken, I can go over to money creation and destruction. But this will be for a future video. So this was episode 1. I hope you enjoyed it. You obviously did, and I will see you in the next one. Until then.